And welcome to the Aaron Katsman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katsman. We speak to your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon to be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, shocking, but if you've not yet done so, please go ahead and subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. If you think somebody may find this of interest to you, why don't you go ahead and share, hit the share button. You can share it with them as well. So, interesting case that happened to me a few days ago. I have a client S, a client who is single and with one adult child and lots of grandchildren. A few years ago, the client decided to add her daughter as an account holder, a joint account holder, so that if something happened to her, she would have, or the daughter, that is, would have access to the account. Well, fast forward, the mother and the daughter no longer speak. The grandchildren, let's say 60% of them, no longer speak to the grandmother. There are some grandchildren who do speak to the grandmother. What does one do? Interesting, very interesting question. Why do I want to speak about it? Because this is someone who had the best of intentions. She didn't consult, not with me. She just went ahead and did it. And we only found out later why. And now everything hit the fan, as they like to say. She was getting a little bit older. I think she turned 70. I don't remember. And wanted somebody to have access to her account in case something, if she became incapacitated or could no longer make decisions or what have you, that somebody could sell things, transfer money, write checks, whatever it is, in the account. Sounded like a really good idea. Might not have been the best idea anyway for the daughter to join because it could be estate issues or tax issues, consequences. But everything was going well until they had this falling out. And now what do? Right? The daughter is certainly not going to take her name off the account. The mother doesn't want her daughter, right now at least, to inherit her. She doesn't want some of her, that 60% of the grandchildren who don't speak to her, she doesn't want them to have access to the money either. She wants a couple of the kids who do speak to her to inherit her. But it's not so simple, right? Because she's no longer the sole account holder, but she added her estranged daughter to the account as well, which means she has a 50-50 say in anything that happens in the account. And I don't think she's going to want to cut out her children. I don't know that she's going to want to do anything to help her mother. God forbid if her mother becomes incapacitated, but that's another issue. It's really important when you're doing this type of planning, and I urge people to do this kind of planning, elder planning, not to try and find band-aids or let's call them small solutions, which might solve one issue, but opens up a Pandora's box to a myriad of other issues. You really need to sit and speak to professionals and look at the whole picture and find multiple solutions to the problems that may arise as one ages. Right? It could be, like we have in Israel, durable powers of attorney, which apply most importantly to health issues. It names a specific person or specific people that are to make decisions, right? You don't want 5, 4, 3, 7 children and maybe a spouse as well, all chiming in and thinking that they are the decision maker and speaking to the medical staff. You need one point person. They could be the point person, right? They can get feedback and discuss things with other people. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to be Rambos or Mavericks and decide everything on their own, right? They can certainly engage with their other siblings, but it pays to have you specify one person and everything flows through them on the medical side of things. The same thing can be also financially. Firms have their own ways of dealing with this. For example, our firm, we have what's called a trading authority or full trading authority, which enables the account holder to appoint an agent, let's say, on the account who can make investing decisions and can withdraw money on the account, but the account is not theirs. They're not account holders, and if they try to write themselves a check or transfer money to themselves, obviously the sirens are going off and the red lights are flashing, and you have to look into that with some serious depth to make sure they're not just trying to liquidate the account and give themselves all the money. So there are precautions that are put in. There are, like I say, lots of dangers when you add somebody as a full account holder. They are account holders. It's their money now. They can do whatever they want with it. There's also powers of attorney that apply as well. There are lots of different solutions, but it behooves you to speak not just to a financial advisor. I would speak to the three advisors. I would speak to a financial advisor, an accountant, and a lawyer, and especially somebody who specializes in elder law, who has experience with these issues. And the three-headed monster, the three-headed advisor, can give you proper advice for your own specific situation, right? People read all the time on the internet, but they don't talk about when their children don't talk to them anymore. Oops. Or they go to their friends for free advice, and their friends, well, I added my child as an account holder. Well, that's great, but now that advice has just cost you huge amounts of money. And more importantly, calm, right? Now you've got all kinds of anxiety because the people who are going to inherit you are not necessarily the people you want to inherit you. So it really pays not to just try to solve each issue on their own, but look at the entirety of the situation and speak to professionals. Even get everybody on a call or on a Zoom or in a room together and lay it out. This is my entire situation, and I need to solve for X, Y, and Z. What do I do? And then everybody can brainstorm. Everybody can bring their own experience with different issues, and you can get, I don't want to use the word holistic because I hate that word. You can get a full solution as opposed to trying to find patchwork solutions along the way. One full solution will save you tremendous time, aggravation, even expense maybe down the road. So it behooves you to do that. And again, I can't encourage enough that there might be other solutions out there that your friends who mean well but don't know what they're talking about all the time don't know about. Right? Your friend says, oh, add them as a joint account holder. Well, that was a heck of a solution that they provided, right? I would probably never recommend that. I shouldn't say never, but if in cases few and far between. And not just because in the rare case where there's a family dust up or blow up in this case and they don't talk to each other anymore, but just because of the issues I mentioned before. There can be tax issues. There can be estate issues. And then if you're not just talking about a single child, but you're talking about multiple children, disaster can set in because when it comes time for inheritance, I know we all think our children are great, but let me tell you something. With decades of experience, when it comes to money, all bets are off. And I have seen this happen before where the money, obviously, the parents or the surviving spouse wanted the money to be split evenly amongst the children. But they also then decided instead to do what, like I offered, like the trading authority of some kind of a power of attorney, they decided in their infinite wisdom to add a child as an account holder. And as that's the case, when the parent died, guess what? The joint account holder got all of the money. Not exactly the wishes of the deceased parent. And trust me that when that happened, well, let's just say that the rest of the siblings and the child who was the account holder also no longer speak to each other. So if you don't like anybody in your family, so just go ahead and add everybody's account holders and everybody can just mess up the next one. But if you actually want to create a legacy and to have family harmony after you pass, like I said, get a bunch of professionals in the room or on a call. All your issues should be put on the table, not just one. We're solving for everything. We're not just solving for one specific issue. And let's have a full plan which will enable you to execute your own wishes, right? Your own posthumous wishes, all the while taking care of you if you become incapacitated or unable to make financial decisions or just do regular banking transactions. Get everybody in the same room together, work out a real plan. Don't just listen to your neighbor who means well, but they don't necessarily understand your specific situation and the ramifications of the free advice that they're giving you. You've been tuning into the Aaron Katsman Show. We speak about your life, money, and your investments. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. And if you think somebody might find this of interest, and there are a lot of people who could, why don't you hit the share button and share it with them as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.